Hey everybody, Alex Kozora from SteelersDepot.com doing our, unfortunately, last analysis of the season as the Steelers lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars 45-42. There's a score I didn't think I'd say after this one. You know, I gave Jacksonville a good chance to win this game. I thought that at least some parts of the fan base at least thought it was too much overconfidence, too much of a thought of a cakewalk, and Steelers are going to win this one easily. Their offense is better. Ben's not going to throw 5 picks. Jaguars offense, they stunk it up against Buffalo. They only put up 10 points. I didn't have that mentality. If you saw my win-loss article that went up Sunday morning before the game, I had the Steelers winning by 2, and granted a low-scoring affair, so I thought it'd be a really close game. Didn't think 45-42 though, for sure, and I'm sure really no one else except for I think Calais Campbell did. There's a video of him calling out potential 45-42 last week, but him aside, I don't think anyone else saw this one happening the way that it shook out. But the reason why I gave Jacksonville such a fair shake and said, we got to really hone in on these guys and not just think about this is an easy win, let's focus on New England, is because they have an identity. They know how to win an offense, and they know how to win games, and they have a clear game plan. And if they get a lead, they can go out and execute it, and that's really what happened. When I think of Jacksonville, I think of the word efficiency. When I think of Pittsburgh, I generally speaking think of inefficiency. And in the playoffs, when teams are talented and the margin of error is razor thin, usually comes down to efficiency versus inefficiency. You look at what Jacksonville did in the red zone. Yes, their offense is far from elite, but they came into today with the second best red zone offense in the regular season, and I think they're even better on the road. Sunday, they went 5 of 5 in the red zone. 5 of 5. Steelers red zone defense, terrible this year. After the past 2 years of being really strong. That was on display today. You think about Jacksonville on third down. Now, to be fair, they generally have been a bad third down team this year, ranked 20th in the regular season, 2 of 12 against Buffalo, but they come in Sunday and they go 8 of 14, including some really crucial ones to keep the drive alive early, late, to do enough to keep drives extended and get points out of it. And again, with an efficient red zone offense, they turn those third down into conversions, into red zone trips, which turns themselves into touchdowns. The turnover ratio, Jacksonville plus 10 in the regular season. That was top 5. They were plus 6 if you take out the Pittsburgh game. They go plus 2 today. That's going to be critical. So whenever you're excellent as a red zone offense, when you're really strong on third down, when you win the turnover ratio, gonna win you most games in the playoffs, regardless of what things look like on paper, regardless of the matchups, regardless of the depth chart. When you play efficient football, and they weren't penalized very often either. I don't have the exact stat. I can pull it up here in a second. You're gonna win most games. Penalties, let's see, 3 for 40. Pittsburgh played pretty clean as well, 4-25, but Jacksonville certainly didn't do things to hurt themselves, and the Steelers did things to hurt themselves. An interception, they gave Jacksonville great field position. The Ben fumble near the end of the first half. Jacksonville did nothing to hurt themselves today, and that certainly proved to be the difference in what was a 3-point game. What I want to go with this, I obviously look at the coaching staff, questionable decision-making across the board with Mike Tomlin. You look at the onside kick. I don't know what's going on there. I guess that was just really a lack of faith in his defense to get a stop, and the idea was the offense has been rolling so much. If you get recover the onside kick, then you're in a position to tie the game up. But yeah, that was just, I think, a really bad decision by Tomlin. I was really surprised by it. I thought it was a foregone conclusion. You kick deep, you have 2 timeouts, plus a 2-minute warning. You get a stop, you get the ball back, and then you have a chance to do the onside kick, which is, of course, low percentage play. If they recover it, they're almost in field goal range. Then life is really difficult, and the game's basically over at that point. For Todd Haley, I don't think it was maybe as bad as people made it out to be, but certainly in the situational play calling, a lot left to be desired, to say the least. I said it all week. You're not going to be able to run outside on these guys. You want to do everything between the tackles, which wasn't going to be a gimme because they had Marcel Darius, the big nose tackle, but the speed and the size at defensive end, the speed at linebacker with Telvin Smith and Miles Jack, you weren't going to get on the perimeter against these guys. And I thought Haley, time and time again, both in key situations and to start some drives and 1st and 10 play calls, was trying to run it wide or run some of these swing passes wide, and there was just no room there. course, you have the 4th-and-1 toss, which is as bad as it gets. You have some of the other, wide plays they tried to run. There was one good drive, I forget exactly when it was. I think they have 1st-and-10 in Jacksonville territory, and they try to run a pin and pull scheme on 1st-and-10, and it goes for, nothing. I think it'd be a loss of 1. So Haley running it outside too often. I mean, I get the Steelers have been more successful with perimeter runs. A guy like Juju Smith-Schuster has done a really nice job of cracking ends and letting guys get into space, and it's been effective. But you have to know Jacksonville's great at stopping it, and on paper, your chance of success is not high, and you had success running between the tackles. Bell busted off a couple of big runs, 20-yard runs, which doesn't always happen for him, and didn't see enough of that. So certainly that was a problem with Haley. To go back to Tomlin at the end of the game, why do you not kick the field goal instead of trying to punch it into the end zone? You killed all your time, so you finally score with a second left, and the game is essentially over at that point. Situationally, again, just a mistake there. So I think with Haley and Tomlin, it isn't necessarily about the big picture, the way that it's going to be about Butler when you look at giving up what they gave up. But the situational problems certainly killed the Steelers in this one. Keith Butler defensively. Bottom line is this defense gave up 38 points. We'll subtract the fumble because the defense is not responsible for that. And to be fair, they were put in some tough situations. You have the interception that I think put Jacksonville around the 25-yard line. But bottom line, 38 points to Blake Bortles in Jacksonville. I mean, you can come up with excuses and talk about injuries and, this and that. And again, I tip my hat to Jacksonville because they're a better offense than given credit for. I did not expect Blake Bortles to play as poorly as he did against Buffalo. I think that first playoff game created some jitters. I think playing against Pittsburgh, a team they faced, a team that they beat, created some extra comfort there for Bortles and some extra confidence. And I just thought they were going to be able to figure things out and turn things around the second time. But you're not expecting 38 points. You're not expecting how easy it was for them to move the football. Doing it with their ground game. Defensively, Steelers couldn't get off blocks. They couldn't rally to the football. Jacksonville didn't hit too many chunk plays. They had a couple big ones, but not too many. It was just a lot of, solid gains, yards after contact. Steelers, again, not getting enough hands to the football. The run fits probably weren't good enough. I think Cam Hayward said that after the game. And let the Jaguars create some long drives. And, again, converting on 3rd down and just string together some impressive series. I had the stat that the Jags ran 61 plays, and they had negative yards on one of them, which was a kneel down at the end of the first half. So throw away the kneel down, 60 plays, none that officially went for a loss. There was the fumbled snap. It's officially in the box score as a no gain, but you get the point no matter if you want to debate the semantics of the fumble or not. Steelers just did not create negative plays. No interceptions, no sacks, no run stuffs, no plays that lost actual yardage. That's as bad as it gets against a Jacksonville offense that is certainly not one of the upper echelon, though again, I caution and I credit that they're better than people give them credit for, and I think now the world is kind of seeing that, at least Steelers Nation is. That's unacceptable. Some of the communication in the secondary seemed better. They didn't seem to blow as many coverages. There were issues on the first series. Maybe some of that was zone stuff, guys not being in the right spots. I think that put the Steelers in the more man coverage, which let the Jags hit some screens on 3rd down, let Bortles be able to scramble for a first down once or twice. But no matter how you're trying to sugarcoat it, because I'm sure Steelers Nation does not really care about the particulars of it right now, or probably never will care about the particulars of what went wrong. The defense allows 38 points, so that's unacceptable. No pass rush. Dupree, pretty invisible. Watt, only a little bit better. Tuitt didn't do much. Cam Hayward, I don't know what happened to Cam Hayward. I love Cam Hayward. That's my guy. But 0 tackles, 0 sacks, 0 quarterback hits, 0 impact. In a big game like this, I got to go back at the tape and try to figure out what happened with Cam Hayward, because I've never seen him blanked on a box score before. So I don't know what's going on there, but that's disappointing. I don't think the front seven got the job done. Clearly, the front seven did not get the job done. Then they allowed the one big play to Cole on the post route, which is a really good scheme. We're breaking that down in the morning on Steelers Depot. It might be up already depending on how I schedule these things. That's a gut punch right there. Steelers put 42 points up and lose. Only the second time in their franchise history, playoffs or regular season, they've put up 40 in a game. and lost. So that's pretty historic stuff there across the board. Jags rushed for 4 rushing touchdowns. They rushed for, I think, 170 yards. Both of those haven't been done in a long time in the playoffs against Pittsburgh. So a lot of people asking about, Keith Butler, should he stay, should he go? I'm still kind of mulling it over. I know everyone wants to talk about fire him today. I think there's some emotion that's going to be attached to that. I want to take a little bit more time to think about it, but I think it's an open question. I'm not going to dismiss it. I mentioned it on Twitter. Does Keith Butler's defense have an identity? When you think about a Keith Butler coach defense, what do you think of? You thought about Dick LeBeau, you thought of the zone blitz, you thought about stopping the run, tackle, the catch. What are the hallmarks of a Keith Butler defense? And I struggle to come up with an answer. And if you struggle to come up with an answer, something that's supposed to be such a basic question to be able to answer, that's a problem. Now, to his credit, I think Butler's done a lot of different things. I think he's been creative. He's tried to put his own stamp into this defense. He's done a lot of different things than what LeBeau has done. There's been some injuries, of course. You lose Ryan Shazier, had injuries in this game as well. Vince Williams left for a brief time. You end up rolling out Sean Spence for the last 5-6 weeks of the season. I mean, there were some things that created a tight spot. But, at the end of the day, the Steelers aren't going to make excuses, and I'm not going to make them either. So I don't know. I think if you want to talk about firing Butler, you should at least be able to throw out some names of who you would replace him with. I think it's only kind of a fair thing to do. You're going to fire one guy, well, who are you going to get that's better? I'm sure most fans will say anybody's better, but I just think, before I say those things or think about those things, you have to come up with kind of some solutions as well. But, I'll think about it a little bit more. I'm sure you guys don't really care if I'm thinking about it. If I believe it and if I think he should go, then I'll write an article about it on Steelers Depot later in the week. But it's possible. I think my guess is that Butler ends up staying in terms of what the reality of it is. My guess is Haley ends up staying. You could see some positional coaches, make a move. I think Joey Porter's on the hot seat. Cardinal Lake could be on the hot seat. I think Lake stays, but who knows? We'll see what Tomlin says Tuesday to get a gauge if they're considering that stuff, and he won't outright say, but he might hint at some moves being made, or at least leaving it open-ended, which would certainly hint at that. We'll see what Tomlin says Tuesday. Special teams, thought they were solid. Tucson had a good kick return, the block by Gold, really good scheme by Danny Smith. We'll break that down later in the week for anyone who cares to see it. That was really well done to get Golden free. Boswell was fine. Barry, okay, not his best day. I think he averaged 40 yards on 2 punts. Didn't have to do a whole lot. Would have had one pin deep, but Westbrook made a good play to get Hilton out of the way to let the ball bounce into the end zone. Where else do I want to go? Yeah, just really disappointing. Again, I did not think this was a cakewalk. Did not expect this game to be a blowout. I thought that there was too much confidence in the fan base. Not that it really matters, of course, but I just, I think it serves another reminder that, it's playoff football, and no matter who you're really facing, you're facing a talented team that's able to get to that point in the season that most teams aren't, and you got to respect that. And if you're a team that has an identity and you're a physical bunch and you play good defense, you get a pass rush. Jaguars do check a lot of boxes for just teams that can make an impact, make a run, and be competitive in most games like they have been for the majority of the season. So yeah, we'll break it down. I'm sure most fans don't want to hear about the loss too much more. Just kind of move on, turn the page, look towards the offseason. We've already started that on Steelers Depot. Dave had an article up Sunday night looking at Steelers free agents and kind of an eye towards the offseason. Of course, we're going to start doing our draft preparations. I'll be in Mobile, Alabama for the 2018 Senior Bowl. I'll be leaving Monday the 22nd. I'll be there all week for practice and covering that, and hopefully learn as much as I can about the senior guys. They're a really good group of the really good roster down in Mobile right now. A lot of big names: Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen. A lot of guys down there that are going to be worth watching and talking about and write about. So be sure to look out for that in a week. Ben says he's going to be back for 2018, so I'm glad that Ben's closing that door immediately, not letting it open to speculation and playing this will he, won't he game. I always figured he'd be back for 2018, so that's, a little silver lining to this day is having that comfort that they'll get another crack at it next year. I know there's a lot of emotion, a lot of anger about the season right now. Totally understandable, but I think just taking 24 to 48 hours and just kind of see how you feel then. I know everyone wants to fire everybody right now. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Yes, there needs to be maybe some changes made. Yes, things have to get better. No, it's not good enough. The outcome of this season, but not everyone's going to be fired. Tomlin's not going anywhere. Let's be serious here. And you're not going to. It's unlikely, highly unlikely, you're going to fire both coordinators. I think that's just not going to happen. But I could see Butler going. Maybe Haley, if the relationship with him and Ben is that bad. I don't think it is. But maybe we'll see what happens there as well. Last thing, I just want to thank you guys for the support for the site all year long. You guys have been fantastic. Had such a really good year for the site. Obviously, our work is not over. Our work is never over. So we're gonna again transition to the off season and start getting an eye towards free agency and the draft, putting a bow on this season, and yeah, go from there. So I just wanted to thank you guys for the support. You guys have been fantastic, both on the site. Follow me on Twitter. You guys have all been awesome. So hopefully you've enjoyed these videos. We'll be back kind of breaking some stuff down later in the week about this game and other random maybe topics that pop into my head. Some other end of year recap stuff we'll post as well. So I'll wrap this video up. I know it's been going on too long. You can follow me. Leave a comment below, certainly about your thoughts on this game, this season, anything else I talked about. The status of Butler and Alien and things like that. Whether you're watching this on YouTube, Steelers Depot, follow me on Twitter at Alex_Kozora. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.